Hello, Croesaw. Welcome to CHERISH chat about aerial archaeology. A really quick introduction to this crucial survey discipline. Aerial archaeology, aerophotography has a very long history. It began in the early years of the 20th century, really with the advent of flight, and was used in the First World War and the Second World War as well for national survey and strategic means as well. In 1919, we had the formation of the Aerofilms company. You can see them in their great biplane there at the bottom of the screen. Aerofilms flew the length and breadth of Britain and other locations, and we have incredible historic views recorded by them. This is Cardiff in South Wales in 1937. And of course, military archives from the Second World War and after. We have those for Britain and Ireland, and they're a really important record of historic change in the landscape. Aerophotography is one of our key survey methods within the CHERISH project, part of our toolkit, and it's a really important way to survey the landscape. We have here in our toolkit diagram number 1, airborne laser scanning LiDAR, number 2, drone survey, and number 4 there, upper right, we have aerial survey with a Cessna. And that's part of our wider way of recording the coast edge and recording change, along with laser scanning and diving and other means of survey. How do we do it? Getting airborne, we use a 4-seater Cessna 172 aircraft out of a regional airfield, and we hire this plane at an hourly rate with a pilot who understands the sort of work we want to do, and then we can get airborne very quickly. If we've got very good drought conditions in summer, or just after one of the key storms in winter, we can fly and look at how the heritage is surviving. You see there's not much room in an aircraft. One of these Cessnas, there's Eric the pilot, and there's our seat next to him. It's quite a squeeze getting in there, and we have a lot of equipment, at least 2 cameras, maps, flying computers, headphones and everything else. But it's still a really good way to look at archaeology in the landscape. This is a short video showing Dan flying over Ramsey Island in Pembrokeshire, showing that environment in the aircraft in winter. Very, very noisy, a lot of vibration. We orbit a site, open the window, keep that camera lens out of the airstream and photograph our site. The window's closed, and now Dan's talking to the pilot about the next survey target. So it's a very noisy, very dynamic environment in an aircraft, but once we're used to that, we can concentrate on getting really good air photographs. Within CHERISH, we've been having a lot of joint nation training. So I've been going over from Wales to fly with colleagues in Ireland for sort of Waterford, Wexford and Dublin areas, looking at archaeology, looking at coastal archaeology. And also in 2019, we had a really successful flying school based at Western Airport in Dublin, which gave students, many of them professionals in their own right, some experience of how to hire an aircraft, how to look at aerial archaeology from above. And what shows up as well. Now, many people think with drones that drones can do everything air photography can do, and why are we still using Cessna aircraft when we have drones? Well, I'm a qualified drone pilot. I do drone surveys as part of the CHERISH project, but the aircraft and the drone do different things. At the bottom there, we can see the drone. We have a legal altitude limit of about 400 feet, or about 120 meters, to keep it away from civil aviation, and usually a visual line of sight limit of ½ a kilometre as well. So it's a great way to survey a particular archaeological site or a short stretch of coast. But the aircraft, the Cessna, allows you to go for 3 to 5 hours, hundreds of miles, to do regional or countrywide survey. And that's especially important if you're trying to get many sites done in a short space of time. We fly at 130 miles an hour in that Cessna, and that can get us across the countryside really quickly. So they're 2 different essential parts of the same archaeological survey toolkit. Discovery is one of the things we think about with flying. If we have a very dry summer, we have archaeological sites that appear a bit like magic in dry fields. On the right, we can see a diagram of an Iron Age hill fort that's been ploughed away by the middle picture. The farmers cultivating that field, flattening it out to grow crops. And the bottom picture shows that in a dry summer, crops over a buried ditch will grow tall and green, and those over a stony surface or a buried rampart will turn yellow. This circle on the left near Aberystwyth is a 4,500-year-old Bronze Age burial mound in a field. You can actually see the crop mark at ground level if you visit in a drought summer. And last year we did some field walking and we recovered flints and so on with the help of the landowner. So these buried sites lost for millennia can be rediscovered in dry conditions. Aerial surveys are also a very good way to record earthworks. Now in 2019 on the flying school we were fortunate enough to fly over the hill of Tara, and this is your cockpit eye view, the students photographing the hill of Tara, looking out of the window, learning how to line up that aircraft, talk to the pilot to get that perfect position to record. Are you at the right altitude? Do we need to go around again to get a different shot? And we can see the earthworks are showing okay in June, but you really need that low winter light and low vegetation to make them show really well. If you get the right conditions, you can really record a lot of detail on earthwork sites. This is a promontory enclosure on Cardigan Island in southwest Wales. And you can see this is the air photograph taken from an aircraft with a long 200mm lens looking down at it. When we want to do detailed recording, we can get a drone out there. These flown by my colleague Dan with measured ground control for a centimetre accurate model. But look at the main photograph in the circle there, that's a seagull. So the camera from that Cessna is photographing something the size of a seagull. So we're still getting an enormous amount of detail in the pictures. Aerial survey is particularly important when we want to monitor remote heritage, remote coastal heritage, or even island heritage, getting out to those difficult places. Sometimes difficult to get a boat to, sometimes it's not possible to fly drones in these areas because of protected wildlife. This is Grasshome Island in Pembrokeshire. It's 15 kilometres off the Pembrokeshire coast. We're able to go there for 1 or 2 days each autumn. It's a very important gannetry with tens of thousands of nesting gannets on it, managed by the Royal Society of Protection of Birds now as well. We've flown upper left in 2017 LiDAR of the island, but that's difficult to repeat every year. The easiest way to get out and record some of these extraordinary stone walls, prehistoric and later walls on the island, is using a Cessna aircraft, and we can see Grasshome from the air lower left. And if we orbit over Grasshome, an island like this, we can get an enormous amount of detail out. Tens of thousands of gannet nests in the centre of the island there, basically covering a lot of that archaeology. But we also have the impact of climate change on Grasshome. You see that grass turf cover on the right hand side steadily eroding, and within the white squares we have rectangular and square earthworks of archaeological buildings that are steadily being eroded away by more intense rainfall and these nesting gannets moving across the island. So for rapid checking of an island like this, for getting out here every year, every few months, the aircraft is still the key survey platform that we need to rely on. And let's not forget, just wrapping up, that there's very few better ways to see the beautiful coastlines of Ireland and Wales than from the air. And here we are over a sandbank in Wexford Harbour in September 2017 with basking seals at the edge of the water, reminding us what a very special part of the landscape this is. That's a very quick run through aerial survey for archaeology, and if you have any questions or any other points to raise, you can ask us on social media. Many thanks. Diolch yn fawr.